Hey, welcome to Sprinkle with Hope. This is your host, Jason, and today we're going to be talking about the power of words and just how powerful they are. I have a really cool kind of experiment that this Japanese scientist did, and I really want to share that with you. So look forward to this episode.
Yeah, we really believe that words are so powerful, both positive and negative. We're going to certainly focus on the positive. That's just what we do. So we are excited to bring power of words to you.
Welcome to the Sprinkled with Hope podcast.
This is Jason. And this is Shane.
And it's podcast time.
Hey, everyone. It's Jason, and today we're going to be talking about power of words. So I have here, words have power. Their power arises from our emotional responses when we read, speak, or hear them. Take, for example, if I yelled fire while barbecuing, what would come to your mind, right? Not much, right? Because I'm barbecuing and there's a barbecue. Or if I was in an office building, pandemonium would arise, right? What about in a crowded movie theater? So if you think of those three different circumstances, where I'm going to get three different responses for those, right? So that's the power of words. And that's just one word, fire. So really, you got to think about the words that you use, how you use them. You really got to be careful about, what you're saying and who you're saying it to, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not only what we're saying to ourselves, but also what we say to others. Like when we say things loud enough, enough times, then our words become our truth and our reality. And not only for us, but for those people that are hearing and listening to our words. Words really, truly have power, and we can tell ourselves certain things over and over and over in our mind. So we're not actually vocalizing the words, but eventually they're gonna be ingrained in our mind, and that can also have some negative things with that, right? So I would just caution each of us, not only be careful about what we say vocally, but also what we say to our minds. Again, if we say them enough, it's going to become our reality. Do we really want to tell ourselves and everybody, what do we want to tell them? Who we are and what we're saying really tells them who we are. I have a quote by Hamza Yusuf, and he says, "Don't ever diminish the power of words. Words move hearts, and hearts move limbs." So we talk about that a lot. It's the action that we take. So again, if we're telling our mind certain words, that's an action. That absolutely is an action. And we have to be careful about that. And equally as important, we have to be careful about the words we say to other people. They can be very powerful, both in the positive and the negative. So it's not just also in the words that we say, but in social media, in those type of things, in texting people. If we're writing words so that people can see what we're saying, we have to be careful about that as well.
Absolutely. And I totally agree, because what we're going to tell ourselves is what we're going to have, right?
Yeah.
So we really need to be cautious of how we're using those. I ran across this, and I've heard of this before, but I ran across it again. So this Japanese scientist, his name was Masaru Emoto. Say that 5 times fast, right? He performed an interesting and fascinating experiment. And so I want to share that with you. I shared it with Shane already, but I want you guys to really think about this as I'm talking about it, and his experiment and the power of words. So what he did is he poured pure water into vials that had negative words on them, such as "I hate you," fear, and other words that are negative that me and Shane don't like to use, right? We really try to avoid those. And so every day he would say whatever it is on those vials, and he would say it out loud to that particular vial of pure water. Then he took other vials and he put on them words such as love, family, just hopeful, positive words, right? And after 24 hours of saying these constantly to this water, he froze the water, and he looked at the ice crystals under an electron microscope. And what he found was interesting. And so what he found is the words that he spoke negatively to were deformed, black. They looked almost dead. The ice crystals had no real good form to them. And so that's interesting, right? Then he looked at the vials where he spoke positively to, said kind words like love and those kinds of things. The ice crystals were beautiful. They were they were gleaming and perfectly hexagonal. It was like perfect form all the way around as he froze these ice crystals. So think about that. There's energy and power in our words. And if he can speak that to a vial of pure water, what does that do to you as a person? If you're telling yourself that you're not worth it or not worthy or, dumb or whatever those negative words are, that vibration is you're going to feel that.
Yeah.
Even if you try to tell your conscious mind that, oh, I'll just forget it. I'll put it out to the side. It doesn't do anything to me. Your subconscious controls 98% of what you do. So if you're not aware of it and it's in your subconscious, you don't know what kind of effect it's having on you.
Yeah.
So you really, really need to be careful and cognizant of the words that you're telling yourself. And that's why me and Shane all the time tell everybody, and we post all the time, you're worth it, you're amazing, you're needed, because we need to hear those things. We need to hear those in our subconscious. It helps us.
Yeah, I think that's a great example. If saying words to water can change it that drastically, that's insane. If that can happen to water, imagine what it's doing to each one of us. When we hear these words, we say them to ourselves, we say them to other people. It's the same effect. You just don't see it. You don't see people turning a different color. That's not physically happening, but imagine what's going on inside of them. It's the same concept as the water to us. Powerful, positive, and beautiful words can uplift and inspire and in some ways completely change a life of somebody who hears them. So think about how you communicate, how you talk to yourself, how you talk to others. Be aware of those words that you're saying. Your words can inspire and encourage and uplift, even to allow somebody to achieve greatness, right? If we're saying the things positively and uplifting to each person, that we can allow somebody to achieve greatness. We can support them. We can even heal them. If maybe they're struggling, the words we say to people can heal them. I believe that. Let me give you a quote, and then I'm going to talk about something that Jason brought up in our last podcast, our live podcast. So if you didn't catch that, you missed it. But I'll bring it up because I thought it tied in with this quote by Bevan Lee. He says, "I am two of the most powerful words. For what you put after them shapes your reality." So I am is the powerful words. Whatever you put after that, I am happy, I'm confident, I am positive, I am hope, I am love. I am courageous. I am brave. Jason talked about that. What we say to ourselves, I am, can be so extremely powerful. So we need to be aware of what we're saying to ourselves. I think that there's huge value in saying that, I am. And whatever you say after that has to be positive, uplifting, encouraging. You can also say the opposite, which I'm not going to get into. We don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on bringing positive energy to the world and to each one of us. So focus on I am and saying something very positive after that. I would encourage each one of us to do that.
That's true. I believe that that's why I shared it, right? Is because I think as we say I am, that's what you're identifying with, right? And so if you say I am whatever, that's what you identify with. Well, yes, I am a lot of things. I am hopeful. I am positive. I am kind and caring. Those things that are things that I am. And even some that, Shane shared on our live podcast that maybe is not like one of our 24 character strengths, but still is something that we'd like to work on.
Yeah.
Tell yourself that, right? So if you're not particularly brave, maybe you tell yourself that, right? And you say, I am brave. Maybe it'll get you to the point where you're more brave. And so I totally agree with you on that one, Shane. Tony Robbins said this. It's a little bit long, but I'll say it anyway because I thought it was really good. Throughout human history, our greatest leaders and thinkers have used the power of words to transform our emotions, to enlist us in their causes, and to shape the course of destiny. Words can not only create emotions, they create actions, and from our actions flow the results of our lives. And so I've heard a lot recently, it's like, if you're not getting the results that you want, change the actions that you're doing to get those better results. Use those words to get better results and take action. We've beat that one to a bloody pulp, I feel.
Yeah.
But it's so true.
Yeah.
Only when we take action do things happen. And I know it sounds silly when you like get up in the front of the mirror and you say your affirmations, I am whatever. But your subconscious doesn't know the difference. So if you're saying it in the mirror, it's going to start to come out. And just because your conscious mind doesn't know what's going on in the subconscious, because they're not connected, right? At least in that sense, knowing what's going on. So when you tell your subconscious, it's going to go, "Woo, okay, cool. I'm really starting to believe this now."
Yeah.
And I tell myself that every day. I am worth it. Why? Because I am.
Yeah, right.
Shane, you're worth it. Everybody listening, you're worth it.
Yeah.
Keep telling yourself that. Even if it starts out where you're not saying it in the mirror and you're just saying it while you're driving or mowing the lawn or whatever you're doing, say those things to yourselves and it will start to make a huge difference in your life. Try it. If it sounds silly, try it anyway, right? What's the harm in at least trying?
Yeah, it's doing the action, right? It's saying those things to you. And going back to the water, the effect that it had on me, that was a crazy example of what words can really do. So even if you want to say these things to other people, imagine the effect and the impact you're going to have on lives of everybody. So if we all did this, the world would be amazing. I think it's also important to share the truth. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I felt like I was overweight and I wasn't healthy. So I can say that to myself. I can say I am overweight and I'm not healthy. And that's true if I felt like that. You can say the same truth just in different words. You could say, I am working to take more control of my life and eat healthier so I can feel better about myself. You're saying essentially the same thing, just different words, right? So again, the power of words really has a power. I think it's important to share truth with ourselves and with others. I don't think we should go around and criticizing everybody else. I think we need to be aware of the inner critic that we have within ourselves, the positive self-talk or the self-talk, whatever you want to call it. That builds our self-esteem or tears down our self-esteem. It really is true. So be aware of what you're saying to yourself internally. Pay attention to how often you're telling your inner critic positive things or negative things. If you speak negatively about yourself, ask yourself these questions. Would I speak to my best friend like this? Would I speak to someone I love like this? Can I change the situation that is making me feel so down? Am I actively taking positive steps toward feeling better? And what resulted from saying something so negative about myself? But we can ask ourselves those questions, and I think we can quickly change the mindset or the words we're saying within our mind to change that from a negative to a positive, and then move on. And I strongly believe that if we keep saying, I am positive, I am hope, I am love, I am kindness, we will be those things. If we tell ourselves the positive affirmations every single day, you'll see a change in your life. You just will, because of the power of the words that you're telling yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I believe it to my core.
Yeah.
I want you to think about this too. Sometimes we often use words in habit, right? And so we use words. I use the word absolutely a lot. I'm not really sure why, but I do. But other people say words like this is so cool, like that's so awesome. You know what I'm saying? And so the reason why that is because our brain loves repetition. Things that are repeated over and over again, it goes, oh, cool. I'm going to latch on to this. I'm going to remember to this. It's pretty important. So I like the things that are repetition. It's the same reason why, and I know this has probably happened to you as well as it's happened to me. You're, riding in your car or whatever, and you hear a song in the morning and as you're going to work, and then all of a sudden it's 5 p.m. and you're still remembering this song in your head. It's because our brain likes repetition. And you think, why? I can't get the song out of my head. It's because your brain likes those, because the beat, right, or whatever it is that's within the song is a repetition. And so your brain latches onto that. So lastly, I just want to share 8 ways to help us use words. One is making words work, making them work for you. Right? So we use the words and we allow them to work for us. Shane gave a great example of that, right? Instead of saying I am overweight or whatever, you change that wording and make it so that it actually works for you and works in your favor. 2, no name calling or self-criticism. This is a killer, right? I mean, it just is. So try to really avoid those things. Don't self-criticize. And don't call people names. 3, stop all self-deprecation. Just quit kind of dragging yourself through the mud. We're our own worst critic, and we, it's just not good for us to do that. 4, resist gossiping and speaking ill of others. I think really if we all tried to do this better, and to find the good in things. I heard a way to kind of do this is to maybe think of somebody that you don't particularly care for, but think of 3 to 5 positive, good attributes that they have. Think about those and what those are, and think about that person, and do that with every person that you come across. I'm telling you right now, your mind will change. I know it will, about that person. You'll quit thinking negatively about them. I thought this one was really cool. Me and Shane talked about it a little bit, but it's number 5, and that's go on a negativity diet. So just get rid of every negative thing in your life, whether that's a person or words or whatever it is. Get rid of those things. Quit being around them, right? Attach yourself and latch on to things that are positive. I promise you it'll make a huge difference.
I love that one because in my mind, I envision eating the words, right? And so we want to go on a positive diet, just putting positive into our mind and our body, and it's going to make a difference. It just is. That was the vision or what I had in my mind when you talked about that, was actually eating the words so that they're now part of us, basically.
Yeah. Eat those positive words, right?
Yeah.
Take it into yourself and tell yourself that.
Right.
Number 6, boost the positive energy of words. So what I mean by that is, let's just say kind or love. So boosting the positive energy of that word is like, I love you. You're actually, kind of accentuating the word love. So because you got to remember, and I've mentioned this before, the subconscious attaches everything in the memory to an emotion. Emotions are triggers. And so if you attach, accentuate that, your brain's going to start to think, I really got to remember that. It's really, really important. And love, we all need more of it. It's just true. 7, surround yourself with people who use positive words. So be around those people. And then the last one, it kind of goes along with that, but that is surround yourself with those good and positive words. So it's surround yourself with people that use those words, and then surround yourself with the actual words. So those are the 8 things that I felt that are super critical. Shane, you might have something to add on to that.
I just wanted to add one last thing. I talked a little bit about negative self-talk, and we don't like to focus on the negative. So I want to focus on the positive self-talk. If we do that, if we continually tell ourselves positive things inside, it's going to boost our confidence. It's going to improve our mood. It's going to eliminate stress. It's going to improve everything, our well-being. We're going to become a positive person. Think about your mind as being like a garden. So in the garden, in a physical garden, you plant stuff and it grows. And in your mind is like a garden. You can plant powerful things, positive seeds, those type of things. So it's our choice. We can decide if we're going to plant flowers, beautiful flowers, colorful flowers, or we're going to plant weeds and all that stuff. It's our choice. It comes down to us and what we want to put in our garden or in our mind, in our soul. It's our choice. It's not anyone else's. And we have to be aware of that whatever we put into ourselves or share with others as far as words go, that's what we're planting. So are we planting flowers or are we planting weeds? Well, that's what I had, my last thought.
Yeah, and I kind of want to end with, if you haven't been told yet today, Shane,
you are amazing. You are powerful. You are worth it. You really are. Jason and I can keep telling you that, and we will. We'll never tire of it. Tell yourself those things. Words are so powerful.
Yeah.
This is Sprinkled with Hope. If you liked this episode, please share it with a friend.
And this is Jason, and if you like it, give us a 5-star review. Till next time, thanks.